And now SCOOB, which brings the Scooby Doo franchise into the modern era with a new, hip, up-to-date framework, more familiar and relatable to our present-day lives. In as much as the Scooby Gang was also supposed to be having an exciting summer in the movie theaters, but is instead spending it at home and relying on the large SN digital infrastructure of Jeff Bezos for its very survival. Yes indeed, we now arrive at SCOOB, officially the first A-list franchise studio tentpole feature to bite the bullet and hit VOD amidst the pandemic-induced release date uncertainty rather than risk pushing itself into an increasingly crowded late summer, early fall rush. It's possible that has more to do with brand management than the studio's faith in the film itself. The pre-release scuttlebutt was that SCOOB was less about relaunching the Scooby-Doo property itself, which has always been pretty much evergreen to one degree or another, but using a cameo-packed adventure story to test the waters for a cinematic universe-style exploitation of the deeper Hanna-Barbera cartoon catalog by Warner Brothers. This is definitely borne out in the film, where the rapid-moving main plot drops the Scooby Gang into a conflict between obscure Hanna-Barbera superhero figure Blue Falcon and Dynamite versus better-known Wacky Races bad guy Dick Dastardly, plus an extended cameo by Tracy Morgan, whose character's identity might be a spoiler but is exceptionally well cast either way, along with background and credits gags suggesting everyone from Jabberjaw, Magilla Gorilla, and Adam Ant to Johnny Quest and Frankenstein Jr. could be waiting in the wings. But as to the subject at hand, well, any sense of bemused or outright bewildered dissonance you may have experienced from that roster of dated references apparently connected to this children's cartoon from 2020 is likely to carry into your ultimate appraisal thereof, occasionally playing out like a J.J. Abrams version of the Lego Movie intentionally stripped of self-criticism. SCOOB might just be the best movie for 8-year-olds ever to have been made entirely out of pop culture callbacks that no one under 45 is likely to recognize. But in any case, the film itself is still chiefly concerned with the main Scooby-Doo cast, primarily Shaggy and Scooby themselves, framed as a retooled origin story for the pair's first meeting and subsequent teaming up with Velma, Daphne, and Fred as children during a chance Halloween encounter. The film then leaps ahead to whatever point in time constitutes after however many established cartoon adventures to find their now college-age Mystery Inc. friends seeking investors to take the quasi-supernatural crime-fighting business professional. Some tension over what exactly a hippie and talking dog duo bring to the table causes Shag and SCOOB to be separated from the others and able to be swept up into the aforementioned superhero-supervillain conflict, which sends the others chasing after them on a scattershot fetch quest involving magic relics and an ancient prophecy to which Scooby-Doo is somehow connected, which is exactly silly enough to fit with the general retro cartoon aesthetic, but also comes with a clever twist regarding exactly what Dick Dastardly is trying to accomplish. As is to be expected from something that's trying to be both the first Iron Man and the Avengers of its own would-be franchise compressed into a 90-minute children's film, there's a little too much going on and probably too many characters. The business with Blue Falcon and Dynamite is fun, but feels like it probably could have been a cameo rather than the entire B story. And while I understand their plot function in terms of misdirection, Dastardly's army of transforming robot henchmen are among the more transparent attempts to make a Minion-alike happen in a while. As noted, the general spectacle of cartoon characters from the 60s and 70s, whose shtick even back then was doing groaner slapstick and cheesy puns from the 30s and 40s with punchline and energy updated to 2020 kindergartners, executed in one of those high-contrast color palettes that might as well scream optimized for Chinese IMAX, is pretty goddamn bizarre in spots, but when it manages to coalesce into its own thing, it has a fun groove and it's certainly not dull. I mean, look, you may have gathered that I'm kind of a mark for this stuff, and yeah, fine, you tell me you're doing a Scooby-Doo versus Dick Dastardly movie, I'm probably gonna find something to enjoy in there. SCOOB is certainly aiming very, very young and mostly wants to have fun for kids, and I think it gets there. So I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10, but let's face it, for you parents at home, it's mostly a 90-minute stretch where they won't be refreshing the same episode of Paw Patrol, so how much is that worth to you? Yeah, I thought so.